Hello everyone, welcome to my channel where we talk about things we love like gaming, shows, and anime. Today we're focusing on the epic adventure film we got back in 1999. It was one hell of a year as I remember, but most of all, we got to see The Mummy. So sit back, grab a bottle of whiskey, and enjoy the 10 awesome facts you probably didn't know about The Mummy. Number 10. The creators of the film really tried to make the Egyptian language sound as accurate as possible by bringing in an Egyptologist to phonetically render what the ancient Egyptian language might have sounded like. Number 9. In 2004, Universal Studios of both Orlando and Hollywood opened the Mummy ride called Revenge of the Mummy, which was based on The Mummy and The Mummy Returns. The ride was so popular to the point that the lines were so long, and then even fans of the movie would begin to chant Imhotep, Imhotep, just like the people that were being controlled by Imhotep in the first film. That's pretty badass dedication right there. Number 8. In the early version of the script, there was a further explanation of why the living scarabs are able to be alive after centuries of isolation without food. And the reason given to that was because the moment Imhotep was cursed, some of the scarabs forced themselves down his throat, and by eating him, the scarabs themselves were also cursed with everlasting life. Number 7. For the television broadcast version of the film, Anck-su-namun had a small bikini painted on her. This was a way to allow the movie to be on regular broadcast channels like the WB television network, now known as the CW television network. Number 6. Brad Pitt, Chris O'Donnell, Matthew McConaughey, Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, and Tom Cruise were considered for the role of Rick O'Connell. Who would have thought that Tom Cruise would star as a lead character in the reboot of The Mummy? Who would have thought there'd be a reboot? Number 5. In the scene where Rick O'Connell's being hung, Brendan Fraser was actually close to dying in that scene. Rachel Weisz said that he stopped breathing and had to be resuscitated. Damn, who would have thought that his life was really on the line? Number 4. Stephen Dunham auditioned for the role of Rick O'Connell, but as we all know, the role was given to Brendan Fraser. Lucky for him though, Stephen Sommers liked his acting so much that he made up the character Mr. Henderson just for Stephen Dunham. I found that interesting because as a kid watching The Mummy for the first time, I was hoping that his character would survive throughout everything that was going on, and I remember I was sad to see him get killed by Imhotep. Number 3. Clive Barker, Joe Dante, George A. Romero, and even Wes Craven were each attached to direct the film. Clive Barker's vision of the movie was a more violent one, with the story revolving around the head of the Contemporary Art Museum who turns out to be a cultist trying to reanimate mummies. George A. Romero's vision was, of course, a zombie horror version of mummies. Joe Dante's vision would have Daniel Day-Lewis as the mummy, and it focused on reincarnation with elements of a love story. I wonder what Wes Craven's version would have been like. Number 2. Adeth Bey was actually supposed to die at the end of the film, but the reason why they made him survive was because Stephen Sommers said that he was too heroic to be killed off. Great choice, as I remember as a kid being happy to see him alive at the very end. Not only that, but that meant that he had to be included in the sequel to The Mummy, which would be the first time we actually hear his name said out loud. Yeah, I never noticed it, but for the first film, you never hear his name said out loud throughout the movie. You could only find out by looking at the credits. Number 1. There were 2 deleted scenes for The Mummy. One shows O'Connell, Evie, and Jonathan heading towards Hamunaptra and crossing a field full of skeletons. O'Connell then recognizes them as fellow soldiers from the Foreign Legion and other fortune seekers. That's creepy. Now, the second scene that was cut occurred while O'Connell and Jonathan are trying to pry open the chest containing the Book of Amun-Ra from the statue of Horus. But they are suddenly attacked by more mummies that crawl out of the ground, and then some of the mummies even try to take the chest for themselves, and just like the trap that was set for the chest containing the Book of the Dead, this one had the very same trap put in, which quickly filled the victims with pressurized salt acid. That is pretty insane. That means our heroes dodged one painful ass death. And that's it for the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if so, please leave a like, share with others, and subscribe if you haven't. And don't forget to click on the little bell icon next to the subscribe button to notify you of every new video that gets uploaded to this channel. And if you'd like to support me on Patreon, check out the link on the description. And let me know if you'd like to see 10 awesome facts on The Mummy Returns in the comments. As for now, I'll see you all tomorrow, and remember to have an awesome day.